Hey kiddos, this activity is called two rings. And each page is going to look something like this. Okay? Now you'll see that there are two rings or two circles that overlap with each other. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But each ring you'll see there's a blank. And next to that, see, it looks like there's a bucket. And it'll tell you how many blocks are in the bucket. This says there are 20 blocks in all. There are 17 red blocks and 8 small blocks. Now, if you think about that for a second, that might seem a little bit strange, right? Because there's 20 blocks in all, there's 17 red blocks, and there's 8 small blocks. Well, 17 plus 8, that's more than 20. So why is that? Well, that's when we're going to come over here and look at this space where there's this overlap. Okay, so this overlap, you can see it's inside this circle, and it's also inside this circle. Sometimes these circles that overlap like this are referred to as Venn diagrams, and what this means is there are some blocks that are both red and small. So that's why there could be more than 20, because some blocks count for both. They are both red and they are both small. So this is saying, with that 5 in there, that 5 of these blocks are both red and small. So in this spot, we want to figure out how many blocks are just red that might not be small. So if there's 5 blocks that are red and small, and there's 17 red blocks total, how many would be red and not small? So basically, we're going to be taking away that 5 from our 17 red. So can you figure that out? If we took 5 away from 17, what would that give us? Did you figure it out? That would be 12, because 12 plus 5 equals 17. And we'll do the same thing with our small blocks. Again, there's 8 blocks total that are small. 5 of them are both red and small. So how many would we have that are just small? Well, we got to take 5 away from 8. And if we do that, if we take 5 away from 8, what does that give us? That gives us 3, right? So now when you add these together, we can make sure that we have 20 blocks in all, because now we got them separated. So 12 plus 5, what would that be? 17. And then add 3 more to 17. That gets us to 20. And that's how many we have total. So even though we have more than it seems over here, we've got that middle section that counts as both red blocks and small blocks. So now we're going to answer these questions at the bottom. And it says, how many blocks are small and red? Well, we can see in that middle section, there are 5. How many blocks are red? Now, keep in mind, when it asks for red, it doesn't say only red, right? It says red total. And it kind of tells us right here, right? Tells us how many are red, but we would want to include both of those numbers because both those numbers show red blocks. So we would have 17. How many blocks are not red? So if there's 20 total and 17 are red, how many do we have in this section that are small but not red? Well, that would only be 3. How many blocks are small? And again, it tells us that, right? But if we include both of these numbers, because both these numbers show small blocks, that would be 8. And then how many blocks are not small? So if 8 are small and there's 20 total, how many do we have left? And again, we can kind of look at our last number over here. This is the number that shows blocks that are red and not small. So that would be 12. So that's how these are going to work. Take your time, do a good job. Remember that middle section is going to be blocks or whatever they are, but they're going to be both of your two headings. So that's what's going to be the tricky part you got to work around. Good luck.